Hello everyone, my name is Achille and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, then just welcome. I'm so happy to have you join us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button to get notified when I upload a new video because you do not want to miss the content I am bringing, baby. Today we are talking about the largest pyramid in the world. The world's largest pyramid can be located not in Egypt, but beneath a hill in a little town in the state of Puebla in central Mexico. It is known as the Great Pyramid of Cholula. The Temple Pyramid Complex has a base of 450 by 450 meters and a height of 66 meters. According to the Guinness Book of Records, it is the world's largest pyramid and monument with a total volume of approximately 4.45 million cubic meters, even larger than the Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza, which is about 2.5 million cubic meters. The Great Pyramid of Giza, on the other hand, is taller and stands at 138.8 meters. As a result, the Great Pyramid of Cholula now ranks as the largest man made monument in history. Even the renowned Spanish explorer Hernan Cortez overlooked it totally and built a cathedral on top of it. The church, which is known as Our Lady of Remedies Church, is still standing today. Historians say the temple was built in honor of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, an Aztec god of wind and learning, who is also credited with creating all of humanity. But first, a brief history of the Cholula pyramid will be explored. Archaeologists disagree over the construction's beginnings and development. We do know, however, that the pyramid is made up of six levels that are stacked on top of one another, much like a Russian doll. As civilizations came and passed, they built on top of what was previously there. Because of this, the Aztecs were not the original builders. In reality, work began more than 1,000 years before the Aztecs appeared, most likely around the year 300 BC. For another thing, the designers of the temple taken advantage of the terrain's natural topography, placing the pyramid on a level plateau rather than among the hills and mountains. The pyramid was constructed of adobe, a brick like building material formed of baked mud. Adobe was one of the first building materials used around the world, and is extremely durable given Mexico's dry climate. Traditionally, adobe bricks were manufactured by mixing mud and other materials like straw or sand and smoothing the resulting mixture to allow for painting and other decorative elements to be added. Adobe can turn mushy and falter in the rainy environments, but it can last for thousands of years in dry, hot conditions, as was the case here. The tropical jungle also provided an abundance of raw material that was rich in organic material. It was built approximately 200 BC and developed or rebuilt multiple times over the years by various civilizations, including the Olmecs and Toltecs. According to Aztec mythology, it was made by Cholula, a giant whose structure so enraged the gods that they hurled fire at it. However, other sources claim it was the Tolteca that built the pyramid. The Tolteca was a diverse group of people with a multi ethnic origin. They were most likely quite affluent, as their capital had been a significant trade center for thousands of years. They not only began construction of the monument, but they also diligently embellished it. Cholula had a population of 30,000 to 50,000 people in 1519, making it one of the greatest cities in Mesoamerica. According to legend, Cortez was portrayed and revered by the Tolteca as the returning god of Quetzalcoatl. However, when Cortez arrived in 1519, the religious center remained a continuous flow of pilgrimage coming in and out of Cholula. There was no significant shift in migration, suggesting that the Tolteca had a plausible reason for why Cortez and his soldiers had arrived. Among the possible reasons are: 1. The Tolteca were unimpressed with the Spanish weaponry and horses, as well as their newcomers. 2. According to Camilla's Townsend's article burying the white gods, while the Tolteca revered Quetzalcoatl, the god was not a quote unquote paramount god in Mesoamerica. 3. Townsend highlights Cholula's involvement in the war with Cortez. The thirst for battle with the Spaniards demonstrated that Montezuma and the Tolteca did not believe Cortez was their returning god. And four, it appears odd and paradoxical for this purportedly resurrected Quetzalcoatl to destroy his own enormous pyramid. Cholula was under Aztec control at the time of the invasion. They most likely expected and were given instructions on how to deal with the intruders. Following the emissary exchange, the Spaniards marched on Cholula with thousands of their Tlaxcalan allies. In reality, the Zampola and Tlaxcala nearly beat the Spaniards. They did, however, reach a peaceful agreement. Historians think Zampola was a subordinate tribe that held an alliance with the Azteca until Cortez and Melanson blackmailed and coerced them into serving under Cortez. It's unknown if the same thing happened with Las Catecas. The conquistadors were housed in a municipal palace. They were fed and treated well on the first day, but the food stopped coming after a few days. A Cholulan woman told La Malinche that the Spaniards were going to be killed the next day and that she should flee to save herself. Instead, she informed Cortez the next day, certain that they were about to be victims of a treacherous, in their opinion, betrayal. The Spaniards turned the tables on the Cholulans and massacred roughly over 10% of the city's population. By the time the Spaniards arrived in Cholula, the pyramid's external bricks had turned to mud, and vegetation had grown on them as it would on any hill. In truth, Cortez constructed a church on top of what he mistook for a hill. It's unknown whether the Aztecs at the time were aware that the tall hill was actually concealing their forefathers' magnificent pyramid. The full extent of the majestic Cholula pyramid remained unknown until the early 1900s when locals began to build a psychiatric institution nearby. Archaeologists had conducted by 1930 that the hill was in fact a pyramid covered in vegetation and mud. In 1954, the total length of the tunnels discovered was roughly 5 miles. However, the chapel on top of the hill was already a famous pilgrimage destination, and when the pyramid was rediscovered, it became a focal point for indigenous spirituality once more, so researchers opted not to fully excavate it. Researchers are now studying the pyramid non invasively using geophysical techniques and remote sensing. Over 2,300 years after it was first built, visitors still come from all over the world to visit this sacred site. It is not as well known as the iconic Egyptian pyramids, but it's still a big part of not only America's history, but world history. Every year, tens of thousands of people flock to see the pyramid in person. What other monuments are hiding in America? Subscribe to my channel and learn more about the hidden treasures America has to offer. My name is Achilleona, and thank you for watching.